So the next problem which we are going to solve is, a drone is an aircraft without any human pilot and is controlled by a remote control device. Its various applications include policing, etc, etc, etc. Okay. David used an advanced drone with high resolution camera during an expedition in a forest region which could fly up to 100-meter high above the ground level. David rode an open jeep to go deeper into the forest. The initial position of the drone with respect to the open jeep on which David was riding is shown below. Okay, so they have given the picture. With respect to the picture, what we can observe is, in whichever height the drone is going, it is actually straight with respect to the jeep, right? Suppose if I consider this point to be equal to jeep, then the drone is actually flying exactly on top of the jeep. We also know what is the maximum height that this drone can go, that is 100 meters. So this height from the ground is nothing but 100 meters. Let's move further. David's jeep started to enter the forest at an average speed of 10 meters per second. Okay, let us write this down somewhere. Average speed is nothing but 10 meters per second. This is the speed of the jeep. Next, he simultaneously started flying the drone in the same direction as that of the jeep. Okay, so both jeep and drone, they are going in the same direction. Next, here comes question number 1. David reached near one of the tallest trees in the forest. Okay, let this be tree. Okay, he reached near one of the tallest trees and he stopped the drone at a horizontal distance of 5 root 3. Horizontal distance. Okay, that is given with respect to the tree. So from the tree, the horizontal distance is 5 root 3. Let us draw that horizontal distance from the tree, and this is given as 5 root 3 meters. Also, he stopped the drone at a vertical distance of 65 meters below its maximum vertical range. Okay, so now wherever the drone has stopped, this is actually the maximum distance which we considered, but now the drone has stopped 65 meters below its maximum. So this is not the actual position. The actual position of the drone might be here somewhere. Let us call this as D1. Okay, now from the maximum distance, if I take out this distance, I will get the actual distance the drone is from the ground. Correct? So actually this is 65 meters which is given. Let me name everything O. Okay. Now from 100, if I take out the actual distance and the maximum distance, if I take the difference between them, I'll be getting DOJ. Correct? So now what is DOJ? 100 minus 65. Take out this distance. So now this is nothing but 35. 35. But what is the actual thing which we need to find here? We should find the height of the tree. That is nothing but, if I consider this is the height, then I should find OJ. But I know what is D1 OJ. I have to find what is OJ. Also given, if you can see the diagram, it's given that the angle of inclination or the angle of depression from the drone is given as 30 degrees. Right? So with the help of this right angle triangle, if I find what is D1O, I can easily find what is OJ. Right? So I have the adjacent side, I have to find the opposite side. What will I do? I will consider tan 30. So tan 30 is nothing but, opposite is D1O. I will write the same thing, D1O by adjacent side is 5 root 3. We all know what is tan 30 degree. What is it? It is 1 by root 3, which is equal to D1O by 5 root 3. So on simplification, I will get D1O is equal to 5 root 3 by root 3. If I cancel the roots, I will have 5 as my answer, 5 meter as my answer. So now this length is 5 meters. Okay. Now from the whole D1J, if I take out D1O, if I take out this part, what will be the remaining part? OJ will be the remaining part, and that is what I have to find. So from D1J, I will take the difference of D1O. What will I get? I will get this part, that is OJ. Okay. What is D1J? D1J, the whole thing is nothing but 35 minus. What is D1O? It is 5. So it is nothing but 30. So OJ is now 30. So the height of the tree is 30 meters. Next, second one, the drone was flying. Okay, so the drone was flying at a height of 30 root 3 meters at constant speed in the horizontal direction when it spotted a zebra near a pond right below the drone. So these words are very important. So now let us just consider the drone. Okay, drone is flying at a height of 30 root 3 meters and it has identified a zebra near a pond. Okay, let this be zebra because it is given that right below the drone zebra is standing. Okay, so now if I consider this line, this will be the height. Height is given as 30 root 3 meters. Next, the drone traveled for 30 meters from there. Okay, if this is the initial position of the drone, it traveled 30 meters. Let that position be E, and this is 30. It traveled 30 meters and it could see the zebra at the same place at an angle of depression of theta. Very simple words. So from the same place, the zebra is standing in the same place and it is making an angle of depression of 30 degrees. What is it asking? Draw a diagram to represent the situation. Okay, we have drawn the diagram and find theta. Show your work. We have to find what is theta. Now, if you can observe, this is a right angle triangle and with respect to the horizontal, we have angle of depression. We know what is opposite side. We know what is adjacent side. Let us take tan theta is equal to opposite, that is 30 root 3 by adjacent, that is 30. Right? If we simplify, we are left with root 3. For what value of theta? Tan theta will be root 3. That is nothing but tan 60 degrees. So your theta value is 60 degrees. Very simple. Next, moving on to the next question. After 2 minutes of starting the expedition, both the drone and the jeep stopped at the same moment so that the drone can capture some images. Okay, so drone and jeep, both of them have traveled for a journey of 2 minutes and they have stopped at some point so that they can capture some images. Okay, the position of the drone and the jeep when they stopped is as shown below. You have got the diagram, but before that, jeep was here and drone was right on top of it. Drone was right on top of it when we started the expedition. Correct? Now, what is the actual position given? Now, the jeep is here. If I consider this point to be the jeep, now the drone is at E, making an angle of 60 degree with the jeep. Let us consider this. This is already given, right? And also they have given the height to be equal to 50 root 3 meters. Now what is it we have to find? We have to find the average speed of the drone. Now, how do we find the average speed? Average speed is nothing but total distance traveled by total time taken. Correct? This is your average speed. Now, for some time, let us just forget what is average speed. We will equate everything. We will find out whatever is there in this problem and then we will worry about average speed. So first thing, now DE, this whole thing is the distance traveled by the drone and this is the distance traveled by the jeep. Okay, let this be K and let this be M. Okay, now in the beginning, if you observe, the average speed of the jeep was given as 10 meter per second. We know that. And also this journey is for 2 minutes. So I know what is the distance. No, I know what is the speed, that is 10 meter per second. And I know what is the time taken, that is 2 minutes. So 2 minutes is nothing but 120 seconds. So if I take the product of this, I'll be getting distance because distance is nothing but speed into time. So this is the average speed into 120. I have converted 2 minutes to seconds. So what is the distance now? 1200 meters. Now this is the distance of jeep. Okay, this is the distance of jeep. So this will be 1200 meters. Now we want to know what is the actual distance traveled by the drone. How will we find that? Whatever distance is traveled by jeep, we have to add km. We have to add the length of km because the whole thing is what is the actual distance or the total distance traveled by the drone. So let us find what is the value of Km with the help of this right angle triangle. So now I have 60 degrees here. I know what is the opposite side. I have to find the adjacent side. Simple. Tan 60 degrees is equal to 50 root, is it 50 root 3? Yes, 50 root 3 by Km. So we all know what is tan 60, that is root 3 is equal to 50 root 3 by Km. So we have Km is equal to 50. So Km is 50. Now the total distance traveled by the drone is 1200 plus this distance, that is 50, which is nothing but 1250. Now what is that they have asked? Average speed. So we all know what is the total distance now. We all know what is the total time taken. Let us do that. So now the total distance is 1250. I'll just write average here. Average is equal to, the total distance is 1050 by total time taken. Let me express it in seconds because this is in meter. Let me express that in seconds. So now I have the time to be equal to 120 seconds, right? 0 and 0 cancel, 12 ones and 12 tens are. If I take a decimal point, 10.4 meter per second. This is the average speed. Now, moving on to the next question. We have a OR question here. I hope you are understanding this. We have a OR question here. Okay. What is it telling? At some point during the expedition, David kept the drone stationary for some time to capture images of a tiger. Okay. They are capturing the images of a tiger now. The angle of depression from the drone to the tiger changed to 30 degree, from 30 degree to 45 degree in 3 seconds as shown below. They have given you the diagram. What was the average speed of the tiger during that time? Show your work. Okay. First, let us understand. Let me consider 2 points here. Okay. Let this be A and B. A is the position of the drone. B is the position of the G. Now, there was some stationary movement and the diagram, if you can see, is given as, let this be the tiger, let this be the other tiger, okay, with respect to the ground. Done. The angle of depressions, actually there is a small mistake in this. They should not have given angle of depression because every time we measure angle of depression or angle of elevation, it is with respect to the horizontal line. But if you observe here, both angles are given by vertical line, with respect to the vertical line. Even though it doesn't matter, we have to observe that because everything should be given with respect to horizontal line. Okay, moving on. What is given? 30 degrees here and 45 degrees here. Also, anything else is given? Yes. The height is given as 50 root 3 meters. Okay. Now, what is it I have to find? I have to find what was the average speed of the tiger during that time. There is a small change in angle of depression is what given in the question, and this change is happening in 3 seconds. Okay, so we have to find the average speed of the tiger in this time. 30 degrees to 45 degrees, it's changing. It is happening in 3 seconds. We have to find the average speed of the tiger at that time. Now, for that, we should know what is the actual distance traveled, right? So let me consider triangle ABC first. I'll write here only. In triangle ABC, we have tan 30 is equal to, tan 30 is opposite by adjacent. So we have BC by 54 root 3. Okay. So tan 30 is nothing but 1 by root 3, which is equal to BC by 54 root 3. If I transfer 54 root 3 to the other side, root 3 and root 3 will get cancelled. So I have 54 is equal to BC. Okay. We have found what is BC here. BC is 54. Now, to find this, I will consider the bigger right angle triangle, that is triangle ABD. So, in triangle ABD, I have the angle here is given as 45 degrees. So, tan 45 degrees is equal to opposite, that is BD, the whole thing, BD by adjacent, that is 54 root 3. Tan 45, as we all know, it is 1 is equal to BD by 54 root 3. So we have the value of BD to be equal to 54 root 3. Now if you can observe, what is BD here? BD is the whole line, right? The whole thing starting from here to here, the whole thing is given as 54 root 3. Let me just write it here. This is 54 root 3. What is the actual distance that we want? We want to find this thing, right? We have to find CD. So I know what is BC and I know the whole thing that is BD. So if I take the difference of BD and BC, the remaining part is CD, correct? So what is BD here? BD is given as 54 root 3. What is BC? It is 54. Okay, let me do BD minus BC. What will I get? Which is nothing but CD. Okay, let us substitute the values here. BD is 54 root 3 minus BC is 54. 54 is equal to CD. We have 54 common here. So 54 into root 3 minus 1 is nothing but CD. So this is the distance traveled. Okay. What is it they are asking? Average speed of the tiger. So we found the distance and this change is happening in 3 seconds. Correct. So now let us try to find the average speed. Average is nothing but the total distance traveled by the tiger, that is CD. 54 into root 3 minus 1 into root 3 minus 1 divided by the total time taken. Total time taken is nothing but 3 seconds. So 3. I'll just cancel 3 ones and 3 18s. So now the average speed of the tiger in that interval is nothing but 18 into root 3 minus 1 meter per second. This is the answer.